looking at how Advance can help the high school help parents. They have access to a fairly captive audience in terms of the parents of school children, and really looking at helping them improve, the adults improve their skills to help their children improve in school. And then, Bob Grant and his team at LTUSD deserve a lot of credit in thinking bigger and broader than just that, so that adults who are working on improving their skills through the high school programs are also able to translate that skill improvement into their own personal life, whether it's completing their high school diploma or being better prepared to enter college or take advantage of some of the career-focused boot camps opportunities that we're providing.
Right. So the connection with the Family Resource Center is really important. I know they sit at the table and oftentimes, well, of course they're an important part of our community, important part of our workforce, and yet they don't always feel invited to all the right forums and all the right tables. But you're making some really significant inroads in creating that connection, so that, because there are students with a variety of different languages and ethnic backgrounds that come to the college, and I'm sure at all levels. So it's great to see that, again, it's part of that welcoming that you have. Is if you need a high school equivalency and you need it in Spanish, then now you have that.
You do. I think our work is also tying in well to the college's greater equity work, and maybe on a future show we'll have Laura Salinas, the director of equity, come in and talk about those efforts too.
That should be a good interview.
Yeah, actually have a director of equity?
Is that at the college?
Director of equity. It's actually a statewide initiative, and California community colleges statewide have embraced this concept. It's really a core value of the community college delivery system, and core value that's actually embedded in the language of the legislative appropriation to support adult learning and development. But what it looks like on the ground and how it's made real in people's lives has been a little bit challenging for groups. It's interesting that we're using this language of no wrong door and multiple hubs. So we said the college is a hub. The college is, I think of the college as being kind of the quality assurance agent that guarantees that the level of learning and development, the courses that are offered, the curriculum that's provided, the connection to industry, how useful the skills are that are taught, that all gets assured by an institution of higher education that is fully accredited. In the community, however, individuals often go to our county library seeking help with learning, or they go to Family Resource Center and say, I'm underemployed and there are 4 of us living in one small room and we all have jobs but we can't make it here. How can we advance, in a sense?
Right.
And so the Advance program says we can take the idea of learning and development and move it closer to where you are, rather than say, if you're willing to jump through all these hoops and hurdles, we'll serve you, which is kind of the old system. It's the adult school model, it's the college enrollment model. So this model moves the learning closer to where people are and moves the achievement possibilities closer to where people are. And that's true for social service agencies. It's also true for our business partners. So our industry partners rely on a workforce that is seasonal here. So most of our thriving sectors here are hospitality, tourism focused, and they're seasonal. When the snow falls, great. When we have a great summer, we have a lot of activity here. Jobs are abundant. They tend to be low paying. People come in and they work for 3 months. They have to, if they want to stay, they got to figure it out.
Right.
So college and a system like this begins to build a bridge between bringing your talent and your ability into our community and having a way to capitalize on that, build it, strengthen it, and figure out how to stay. Maybe not just in taking jobs, but maybe in literally entrepreneurship and figuring out how to add to the industry that we have, offer more recreation opportunities and so on. So we have big ambitions for all this.
Earlier this year, there was the Business Walk, which the Lake Tahoe South Shore Chamber, the Tahoe Prosperity Center, the college, and others, where you really went out and talked to employers and business people about what are your needs. And out of that, one of the first things that seemed to emerge was this idea of the culinary boot camp. So people who, as you said, are seasonal, moving around. We have a lot of restaurants here. They struggle to keep enough people.
Right.
Restaurants are very, you need a lot of people to run a restaurant. So out of the discussions that went on, it seems like the culinary boot camp made a lot of sense. So describe the culinary boot camp.
Sure. So something else we've just wrapped up, our first series of. The culinary boot camps are really 40 hours of entry kitchen cook level skill building. And the skills were identified and vetted by our industry partners. So historically, community colleges and four-year colleges build a curriculum, within the walls of academia, and then say, we know best, here it is. Here we really wanted, in part because of, I think, the feedback from the business walk, really wanted to make sure that our industry partners who were spending their time with us had an opportunity to tell us what they really wanted. What were the 4, 5, 6 top skills that we could realistically teach in 40 hours? And so they helped us identify those. Not surprising, some of the soft skills of communication, teamwork, organization were part of that, sanitation, knife skills, etc. We built a 40-hour curriculum. Again, went back to the group, both the work group and the Tahoe South Restaurant Coalition,
Very good,
sponsored by the chamber here, for their feedback. Fine-tuned that, and then this fall we were able to run that 40-hour curriculum in 2 models, one over 5 weeks and one over 5 days. And so we had our first 13 graduates over the last week of those two programs. Interestingly enough, we had a number of participants who were looking to enter the culinary field, but also probably 50%, maybe 60% of the participants were sent from local businesses.
By their employers.
By their employers. Here's where I always feel I have to give a shout out to Brandon Reed and Beach Retreat. They sent 2 folks that he had recognized some potential in, not only to participate, he also paid their wage while they were improving their
sort of
skills.
An internal company scholarship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we will continue to challenge the other industry partners around the table to do the same. But that's really the kind of outcomes we're looking for. That full engagement, full investment by the individual, the industry partner, the community, and the education system.
I would offer there's another bridge between the business walk outcomes and programs like the boot camps, and that is that we heard from employers in our local community there are really 3 different distinct kinds of skills that they're looking for in their workers. One is these technical skills, such as the culinary skills that allow them to interact with the process of the business. A second is really customer skills, the ability to interact with the public in a way that advances the goals of the business. And the third, quite honestly, is just the ability to show up, be work ready, and have a work mindset. So the one thing we're able to do through these boot camps and some of these programs is integrate all of those skills into a kind of seamless curriculum, so that we're not just teaching people to cut meat, but they're able to cut meat, interact with customers, and also show up on time the next day. If we can do all of those 3 things, the businesses will thrive, the community will progress, and we have that nice virtuous cycle.
So we have about 2 minutes or so left. I want to make sure we don't miss any of the key essentials. So what other things are important to put on the table today?
I think there's one other, and I'd love to have you talk just about the advising, that transition advising function.
So we've talked about programs, we've talked about the community and industry involvement and all of the pieces of this system. One of the things I think that makes this our approach unique is that we've created this position of transition coordinator to really help participants navigate the system.
I see.
So it's sort of being an escort down those hallways, if you will, between those various doors. So it's not come in, thanks for coming, hey, you need to call this person or set up your own appointment. It's let's sit down and talk about where you really want to go, how you think you can best get there, what support you might need, what barriers you might face. And let's figure this out together. Let's build a plan, and let's make sure that we're right there with you every step of the way. And I think that would be that transition approach, that supportive approach is really critical for our success at the individual level.
Right.
Let me just,
Yep.
one final piece to that. I think it's important that what we're doing here, unlike traditional college advising, is not saying, what class should you take next,
Right.
and then next semester, and so on.
Right.
This is really about building a long-term plan for survival and growth for the individual, and then making the individual decisions and choices about how to place them and how to support them. So.
This is really a terrific program with its hub right here in South Lake Tahoe. I hope you are interested in finding out more. You can go to Lake Tahoe Community College. You could go to Advance program. I think searching for any of those will get you to where you need to go. And I want to thank Frank Gerdeman for
Thank you, Steve.
our being here and coming to our community and being part of this. So welcome again.
Thank you.
And Michael, always a pleasure.
Yes.
Always a pleasure. Thank
Always,
you.
Steve.
Thank you so much. And we'll look forward to seeing you on our very next episode of the Regional Report right here on Douglas County Community Access Television.
You've been watching the Regional Report with regional reporter Steve Teixeira. Studio location provided by the Gill Professional Building, 218 Elks Point Road, Round Hill, Zephyr Cove, Lake Tahoe. Graphic design and titles by Charter Advertising Design. Announcer Ed Miller, Wild West Communications. Production by Lloyd Higuera and Douglas County Community Access Television.